You are listening to And That's Okay, the podcast devoted to encouraging you to live in your truth in a society where reality is not what's socially popular. This is a platform where you could be a novice about anything and feel comfortable about it. Let's have the conversations we all wish we had years ago and want to hear more of. Nothing is off limits and there is no shame or judgment here. Join me as I navigate life, marriage, friendships, finances, career, and whatever else life throws at me. Listen, doing all this self-work is bound to piss a few people off, and that's okay. Thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Angelique Royale. Let's get into it. Do you remember who you were 5 years ago, 10 years ago? Do you even remember who you were a year ago? Like, does that ever cross your mind to take a minute and slow down and think about all the changes that you've been through and who you are today versus who you used to be? At any point in time, do you mourn or grieve who you were 5 years ago or who you were before this particular situation that happened to you and changed you? I'm going to tell you today, go back and find that person. Now, granted, you won't be the same person 100%, but if you can remember certain aspects or certain things that made you happy that you used to do but you stopped doing because of a certain situation where you feel like you lost yourself, take the time and get back to you. Now, I know that is easier said than done because it takes a lot of work to unlearn certain things, to break through walls, but you deserve to be genuinely happy and loved. Stop allowing these situations to change who you were or take away from the genuine love you had. Now I understand that certain people don't always deserve what you have or what you can give. And those people you necessarily don't need to give what you got to them, but don't allow the ones that do deserve it to suffer because of one person that did something wrong. That person just simply did not deserve the pieces of you that you gave them. It does not mean that there isn't anyone else out there that really truly deserves it. Like, we lose ourselves in relationships. We've put ourselves to the side for other people, to cater to others. And we deal with a lot juggling all of these roles when the main role hasn't even been focused on. It's like, how are you going to have a bomb movie if the main character isn't being taken care of? How? At the end of the day, who you are at your core allows what you got going on to pour into those other roles you wear. At the end of the day, you have to take care of you, because those hats that you wear can flourish. They can't flourish unless the core you is flourishing. So take the time to take care of yourself. Figure out who you were before that situation. And I know y'all have heard that before. Try to undo what that situation did to you and look at it. Sometimes it takes for you to mature some to really understand that, what that person did to me was more about them than it was about me. And it's like, stop internalizing everything and thinking everything is about you or everything is because of you, because it is not. Everybody in this world has something going on. They've dealt with different things. They experience different things. And some people don't know how to handle good people. Some people don't know how to point out red flags in people. And sometimes you don't know until you know. And it's like, don't allow that to change who you were at your core. Yes, it may allow you to look at things a little differently, look at people a little differently, deal with people at a distance, but don't allow it to change you. Now, even with relationships and losing yourself, I dealt with a relationship where I lost myself because I was so engulfed in this relationship. And I was just like, well, I can't change this person, but if I change myself, maybe it'd be better. Maybe it'd be this. And me being so focused on that, I lost sight of the things that I was doing before this relationship. because I was sitting there like, well, I gotta change, and if I change, I'll fix this and I'll fix that, not realizing that in a relationship it takes two. So I can't be the only one changing or working to change and the other person isn't. And it took a lot out of me. It drained me, and I got to a point where I had like a slight wake up call, and I was just like, wait a minute, this is not who I am. I would look in the mirror and really not recognize, like, yo, Ange, like, what you doing? Like, have these conversations with myself, like, what are you doing? Like, this is not you. So it's like now I'm doing the work, doing more work now with therapy and everything to understand who I am at my core, what makes me happy, advocating for myself, speaking up for myself, putting myself first. I am the main character in my movie. I am the villain in other people's movies. I am a co-star in other people's movies, but in mine, I am the main character, and I need to take care of her, because without her, there's no movie. The movie gonna be corny. She needs to be doing the damn thing for herself, so this movie can be bomb. She could be happy, she could be flourishing, everything she touches turns to gold, everybody she speaks to just loves her. She walks in, she lights up the room. Granted, I won't be everybody cup of tea. No, I won't be. I don't expect to be. I don't care to be. But for those who genuinely love me, I know. I absolutely know who you are. And for the people that I'm not the cup of tea of, I don't care. I don't care. Like, it's one of those, like, that is your problem. If I have not done anything to hurt you or purposely hurt you, and you haven't had a conversation with me to really get to the bottom of it, it's technically your problem. It's not my problem. I am not taking responsibility for that. And neither should you. It's a lot of people out here where they won't have the hard conversations. I know you see the memes and the videos on Instagram and all the social medias about people lacking communication, because it's true. Every conversation doesn't have to be confrontation. It doesn't. And if it's that way with the other party, then you know that person has some growing to do. And I've learned over the years to give people grace. I've also learned to not internalize things, because I used to internalize things like, what's wrong with me? And it's like, I am not always the problem. And I had to unlearn that. I am not always the problem. You are not always the problem. And I'm talking to my fellas too. I know a lot of my audience is women, but fellas, if you're listening, I'm talking to you too. Get back to who you were before some of these situations changed you. Yes, it grew you, but soften your heart a little bit. You can deal with people at a distance. You have a right to say no if you don't want to deal with people, but you don't have to change up how you deal with the people that are genuinely there for you because of some jerk off that played you. So now you have this whole wall and guard up. No, you just need to handle and be able to recognize when those type of people come to you, that you be like, no, keep you at a distance because you don't deserve what I got. And then continue to pour into those who pour into you. I'm not saying that it's something that will be easy, but at the end of the day, it is worth it. And that's if you want to do it. I'm just here to tell you that it's okay to do it. And it's okay if you don't want to do it. But just understand that you are denying yourself. It's like you being disrespectful to yourself by not making yourself genuinely happy, finding out the things that truly make you happy, that feed your soul, that brings you joy. When you have joy, it's another level over top of happiness. So it's like, take the time out to get there. Like, why not? But I also understand if you don't want to, if you're not ready, if you got a lot going on. But take small steps. Take small steps at a time. Practice saying no. Like, my therapist told me about this personal bill of rights that I didn't know about. And I was just like, oh, I've never seen this before. Look the personal bill of rights up. It tells you what you have rights to as an individual. It's a lot of things in this world that we think we can't say no to because of fear of rejection, because of fear of how someone else may feel or take what we're saying. And it's just like you're internalizing. Again, you have no control over how someone else takes what you say. You can come from a delicate place, but at the same time, you can't control what others do. You only have control over you. So why not be the best version of yourself that you can possibly be for you and nobody else? Now, if you have kids, be the best version for yourself of yourself for your kids, because that pours. When kids are in a healthy environment and they see healthy things, they absorb it like a sponge. They'll see it and watch. Just think about you as a child and how you grew up, what you've seen around you, the habits that you seen when you were younger that you grew up with now, and you're trying to change it because you're just like, nah, that's not cool. Like, society has us trained a certain way, or has our mind to think that because we're doing something that's not the norm, that it's wrong. And that is not true. Like, we are doing things to be different. Just because it's done one way, it does not mean it can't be done a different way. That's something else to unlearn. But at the end of the day, get back to who you were. Do the necessary work. Take it one day at a time. If it's something where yes, healing is a lifelong journey. Unlearning things will be a lifelong journey, because as you grow and you experience things, that's when you realize, oh, I need to unlearn this. I'm gonna be real. It's not going to be easy. I'm currently going through it, and I will forever go through it. And it will be a point where you will kind of grow through like a healthy grieving period, because you'll be like, dang, all my life I went through this way, not realizing that I was able to do things this way, or that I deserve certain things. I always thought that I could only do this, or I always thought that I could only do that. And it's just like, when you get to a point where you start removing those layers and getting back to who you were, but more improved person that has been through things, that have been through experiences, and that has wisdom. And then you realize moving forward that, like, yo, I can do that. That's okay for me to do. I didn't know it was okay for me to do. And it's just like, for a minute, you might be like, dang, people be holding me back, or I was held back for so long that I didn't know this was even possible, that this was even reachable. Anything is reachable if you put your mind to it. Nothing is impossible. You could do it if you want to. It is truly and solely up to you to do the necessary work to get there. It's up to you and nobody else. If you're okay where you're at now, you cool, you chilling, it's comfortable, go ahead. Do you, boo? But if you feel like something's a little off, something's not right, this don't feel like me, then explore it and find what feels like you. Like, find what feels like you. Find what feels good. What makes you happy. What allows you to feel fulfilled at the end of the day. Definitely explore it. There's nothing wrong. Take the risk. Seek the new opportunities. Try new things. I'm currently doing this now. Like, just trying to expand what I got going on and witness new things. I've been stuck in like this place of feeling like, if I do this, what's this gonna happen? If I do that, is this gonna happen? But then it's just like, stop always thinking about what's the worst thing to happen and think about what good things that can also come out of it. It's human nature to think of the bad, but then also look at the good and the possibilities. And then if it don't go that way, it's a lesson learned. But you could say, yeah, I did it. I tried it. So I want you to think about it. You don't have to. It's up to you. It's your life. I have no control over that. I only have control over mine. But definitely, if you're feeling off, if you feel like something's not right, explore that. Find things that make you happy. Do things that make you happy. Stop putting things off as if you have forever to do it. Live a little. see new things, experience new things, talk to people. Listen, I used to think that a few years ago that I was coming into age 2.0. I used to be like, oh, new birthday, new year, age 2.0. And that was probably about age 1.5, to be honest, because what I'm doing right now and what I'm evolving into is more along the lines of age 2.0. Because even with this podcast, it was always a thought. It was a thought, and to be sitting here and actually doing it, it's just still blows my mind. And a few months from now, it'll have been a year since I've started it, and I'm still amazed that I can call myself a podcaster because I do have a podcast. And just something simple as that can change a lot. Just doing something different, doing something that you never thought you would do, trying something new. It's been exciting for me, and I want to keep continuing this on, and I want to encourage you to definitely bring a new and improved you back to the surface. Like, work on you. If that's being better health-wise, if that's drinking more water, if that's moving your body, do what feels good for you and take it one day at a time. You don't have to rush the process. You don't have to feel like you need to get it all done this week. Take it one day at a time. Give yourself grace. Be patient with yourself. Consistency is hard, so take your time. You're going to fall off, but get back up and try again. And I'm pretty sure if you keep trying, the next thing you know, you won't be consistent because you keep trying. And you keep trying because you're programming yourself to do this. If your body's not used to doing it, or if you're not used to doing it, then it's going to be a little hard to be consistent. But keep going. Don't stop. Keep going. I'm going to take my own advice too, because I'm not the best. I'm not consistent. It's a lot of things I want to change. I want to be better at and do more of. And the same thing I'm telling you is the same thing I'll be telling myself. To be patient, to give myself grace, and to keep trying. Eventually, it would turn into who I want to be and where I want to be at. But I'm only going to take it one day at a time. And I want you to do the same thing. We are in this together. So, let's be accountable. I got your back. I support you. I may not be there with you physically, but you have this podcast to listen to remind you, so that I could be there as a voice or in spirit. Remember, you are the main character. So make this movie bomb AF. That's all I want from you. Make it the best it could possibly be, and make sure it's up to your standards and nobody else's. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you walked away with some valuable information. Make sure to follow the podcast on IG at And That's Okay Podcast. You can connect with me directly on there. Looking forward to the next episode. Remember to spread love, kindness, and make the choices that bring you peace.